I'm glad that you said that, and I'm glad that you transitioned right into what I wanted to talk about next. I think this team should add. That's where I'm at. I know that they're 13-18. I know they're on a 6-game losing streak. I think this team should be a buyer because there's one spot that they can significantly upgrade and completely change the way that this works. It's the center position. And I think that they could really, really change the fortunes of the way this thing is built by just getting a center who can do something on one end of the court. Hopefully he can do something on both ends, or at least like be schematically useful on both ends in some way, shape, or form. But like if they got one side of the court that is really, really good from a center, this team is like totally different. That's why on the last segment with Ricky O'Donnell, I brought up Nikola Vucevic. I was like, look, if you could go get Nikola Vucevic for a top 18 protected first round pick that turns into 2 seconds or something like that, top 16 for the next 2 years, and then, you know, it turns into seconds. I think you go do that. Like, I think that that is like fairly reasonable and valuable because theoretically the Raptors have the length and athleticism to be able to insulate him defensively while also being able to get a lot of the benefit of what he can bring offensively in the half court. So it's something. I'm not saying like definitely Nikola Vucevic do that, but something like that would upgrade this roster immensely, I think.
So Miles Turner, Pirtle, Vucevic, like these guys, particularly the former two, have been linked to the Raptors for some time. And, you know, you never really know where the info comes from, but apparently they like these players. And everybody who watches this team understands why the Raptors would be looking at those guys and saying, I like that. I'd really like that on my roster. And it's a salient point you make about even just improving one end measurably and just being of some utility on the other. If we, you know, you made the case for Vooch, the installation is a great point about the defense, right? Like that passive rim protection of a big guy is just something the Raptors don't have, even if it's not elite, but it's just big. The defensive like the Raptors wouldn't have to sell out as hard for defensive rebounding. They don't have to rotate as hard towards the middle, like all this kind of stuff. And then they can be more aggressive in passing lanes above the break. Like there's just a million different defense is complicated at the NBA level. I'm sure we know this. When we talk about Pirtle, this is also when we talk about the scheme, Pirtle can simplify a lot of that stuff too. Even if Pirtle doesn't finish, you're making it so that the Raptors don't have to play that helter-skelter, kill yourself, like just so much effort scheme the whole game. You can get like, 27, 29 minutes of a little bit more conservative. Maybe some games, Pirtle, he's really found like a gap. Maybe he's really working well off maintaining space as a cutter or a roller. You finish with him, whatever. But it adds to that versatility. This is something that Jackson Frank and I talked about prior to the season is when he said, do you think the Raptors are a versatile team? And I said, no, this team is not versatile at all, despite being billed as versatile. A wing does not mean versatile. And people think it means versatile. The Raptors are stuck in one type of play. They cannot be changeable as far as what they aim to do. They can throw different schemes like against the Mavericks. Sure. They ran 13 different pick and roll coverages against Luka Doncic. That's absolutely correct. But what they couldn't do is sit a guy at the back end who is better than Christian Koloko, lock and trail, and bother him from behind and kind of get back into plays that way. And like have a good big man like Brook Lopez, who they won't have, but just have a good, that's a bad comparison. DPOY, not Brook Lopez, a good big man who can navigate the back end of the defense. Like that stuff simplifies so
like
much.
Ivica Zubats like would be
so good. Sure.
And he's good, but like that he's like a middle tier center in the NBA.
Right. And so getting anybody like that simplifies, and Precious Achua will answer some of these questions to be sure. Yep. But again, this is about versatility. This is about being able to win in more than one way. This is about being able to do more on offense as well. And the Raptors, being a team that gives up a lot of looks at the rim, allows teams to shoot an incredible rate from the rim, corner 3-pointers, and then also struggling offensively, especially in the half court. It's just, they need something. I'd love a center. And if you could somehow steal like Jalen Noel out of the backcourt in Minnesota or something like that, even better, dude. That'd be tremendous.